the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Thumbs down. Vol Halfcourt issues offensively won't be noticeable this season. I thought this would be fun for both you and Ethan as the Vol hoop heads here. So with the roster that they have right now, 15 deep, what you've seen from Ament, what you've seen and heard from Gillespie, do you think the most common talking point from Tennessee fans while we're watching these games is like, here's another 8-minute just lost in the mud and we're stuck in the mud type deal. The half-court offense is just stagnant and struggling. Do you think that narrative disappears with the roster and depth that Barnes has this year?
I don't think the narrative does. I mean, let me flip this to you, Chase. I'll ask your opinion, and then I'll ask what you think the general Tennessee, the general opinion of the fan base is. Did Tennessee have half-court offense issues last year?
Yes.
They didn't score in transition, and they had the 17th best offense in the country. So
yeah.
if that's what your narrative is, then I'm sure you're going to feel the same way again this year. They didn't score. They were one of the worst transition teams in the country. I don't think they're going to be great in scoring a transition this year. So yeah, I mean, I just think that's the nature of college basketball. You're outside of a few very elite offenses, you're going to struggle to score in half court at times. So from that standard, I think they probably will have some struggles. Do I think it's going to be brutal like it has been so many years? Because don't get me wrong, so many years it has been brutal. Some of their half court offensive struggles, but I don't think it'll be that. But is it going to be something people talk about on Twitter? I'd be pretty darn shocked if it's not.
Do you agree, Ethan?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, I think there's certainly early in the season, there's a chance for there to be growing pains in that respect, because while Gillespie's very skilled, while Ament is very skilled, and while whoever ends up playing the most minutes at 2, be it Amari Abram or whoever, while they have earned those minutes or will have earned those minutes and will be skilled, there are 3 new people working together, and working with 2 new guys in Cade Phillips and Felix down low as well. So I think there's a chance for there to be some growing pains in that regard, but I think the ceiling is also higher offensively. I don't think there's going to be a huge drop off in production, and facilitating even from Gillespie to Zakai. I think Gillespie's probably a better offensive player than Zakai. I think Ament probably has a higher ceiling than what, say, Chaz did offensively. And so I think once the team just gels into and gets their chemistry together, another guy that's kind of, I wouldn't say flying under the radar, but that is being underrated a little bit is Felix Hakpara too. He's apparently taken a massive step, and he's impressing some people as well. So if he can indeed take that step and translate it to early season tough matchups and in the non-conference against Houston, whoever you want to put in there, and then into SEC play, like if that guy's balling, that's going to make it a lot easier on a lot of other people as well. So I like the ceiling of the offense better, and therefore I like what the half-court offense can be, because I ultimately agree with Ryan. I feel like last season was actually kind of the least rough, for lack of a better term, in that regard. I think Tennessee's offense flowed very well, that really they haven't seen since Jordan Bone and Grant and Admiral.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the best half-court offense to date, Rick Barnes era, potentially. If they're healthy, I think Jacoby Gillespie is just going to be a cheat code in late in games and in the half court, and someone who's going to rise. And Nate Ament, I think, has all potential in the half court to just take over at times. And if you get enough shooting at the 2, as a guy, like whether that's Berg, whether that's Abram, they're just not afraid to take open looks, because I think they're going to get a whole lot of open looks when they're on the court with Ament and Gillespie. If they settle in there in that role, they're going to be really good. I think part of it is I think JP Estrella, we'll see what he looks like in the half court, because I think he is someone who could really help them and like a whole lot of stuff in the half court. So that's a big part of it. Hakpara, what is his chemistry like with Gillespie on the lobs? Because I still think that's his ultimate thing. And him and Zakai were just so good at their lob threat and just how they were in the pick and roll. Like, are we going to see that same level of chemistry with Gillespie? Who knows? I think that's very possible.
They're going to play the same way.
Yeah. So I think that'll be different. It'll be hard. I mean, it's going to take some time for Hakpara to get used to not having Zakai, right? Like that's going to be it's going to be a very different, very different guy, and getting used to him. 2 elite players, but very different.
I think for it to be the best, I think it probably comes down to some guys in the front court being consistent scorers.
Carey being a guy.
Yeah, Carey or JP or Felix taking a big step. Like I think that's kind of what has to happen for it to be the best. It can still be good without that, because again, I think Gillespie and Ament being as good as they makes the floor pretty high.
Well, and the reason I also think last year was like Chaz is not a guy who is dribbling into his own shot, right? Like he's just coming off pin downs, coming off screens. Like he still need to be set up so much, and not someone who drives the line. Like it's just when Chaz gets hot, it's one of the most fun things to see. Like he has a beautiful shot and all that, but I think the difference is Nate and Jacoby they theoretically should be able to convert and they should be able to. How can I explain this? They should be able to do stuff in traffic. I think they should be able to do stuff off the dribble. I think they should be able to do stuff off the catch and shoot. Like, I just feel like they're the most versatile two-man scoring punch Tennessee has had in a long time under Barnes. And I think in the half court, they should shine there.
There's no player like Zakai and no player like Chaz on this team, I would argue. I think that's the best way of saying what you're saying there is the makeup of this team is just completely different than it was last year. And I think in a good way is what I would say.
I like that take. Also, I missed one, by the way.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.